There's absolutely no magic pill, and it's a tough path to become a concert pianist in 2023. But I would like to reveal my story here to show you how I have done it and so that you can also take something from that video. My name is Aaron Pilsan. I'm an international concert pianist, and I will explain in great detail here how my path has developed, how my journey has been. So I'm from a little town in Austria. We've had cows behind our houses as a small child. I remember that they were there always in the autumn time. And my parents are both non-musicians. My father is an engineer. My mother is a teacher, but they've both supported me on my journey. As I was around 4 years old, I remember that I was always getting up early. Not anymore, but back then I was always getting up early, and I loved listening to children's songs. So my parents have decided that they wanted to apply me to a local music school where I've learned some basics about clapping, about dancing, about singing. And from there, I remember that one day there were no other children there. I think they were all sick or something. And my teacher showed me around in the building, and there was this old piano in the corner, already very dusty, and you know, the room was a bit shady. But I remember that I started playing, I started trying on this instrument, and I was so overwhelmed by the possibility to just produce a sound, with just hitting a key. That was really, really fascinating. And I remember that my teacher had to really, take me away from the piano because I was so captivated. And I told her, I want to learn the piano. Later on, my parents were in a consulting session with the head of the music school, with the director, and they asked him, what do you think? Should our son learn an instrument, or is it too early? I was 5 years old back then, and he advised them, so it's possible at this age. And they asked, what kind of instrument should he learn? And he said, well, if you want him to play in my orchestra, he should learn a violin. If you want him to be in a local wind orchestra, wind band, then maybe a clarinet. And I said, he should learn what he wants. And finally, he told them that I wanted to become a piano player, which they didn't know before. So they rented the piano because the piano obviously was quite expensive at that stage. And then I started playing my first lesson. My teacher asked me, what color do the keys have? And I responded, black and yellow, because on that piano the keys were so old that they were yellow already. Gonna have some coffee here because this story will be a little bit longer today. So I hope you have some time and patience to really watch it until the end, because there will be some valuable information which I will share with you later on. And from there I started playing. After like 3 years, I wanted to also compose on the piano. So my teacher there helped me to change to another teacher. My first teacher was Susanne Schnetzer in Austria, and she recommended me to take lessons with Ivan Karpati, which I then did, who also helped me with composing a few pieces. And I won a competition actually at the age of 14. It was not primarily a competition. I played the piano and composed something for there, which I had to. And I won this, and I won a grand piano. And I remember I was so happy with winning this grand piano that I had tears in my eyes. Probably I'll do another video about this very first big competition success I've had as a teenager. But my music school, they kind of recognized my talent, and they helped me to develop further, to meet professors. And then in the end, my director, the one who told my parents that I wanted to become a pianist, his name is Guntram Zimmer, he took me to Lindau to a masterclass held by an organizer called Peter Vogel, where I always play. And he had a masterclass with Professor Karl-Heinz Kämmerling, who listened to me there. And the first encounter was also very funny, because we didn't know if I could actually play for him. And we met him in the corridor and asked, what do you think? Do you think Aaron can play something? And he said, of course. We pianists, we are not just practicing for ourselves in the small room, we should also perform for others. So I ended up playing in the actual audition of the masterclass, and I had a lesson with him then. And he kept me in the whole masterclass because he was happy with my talent, and later on invited me to study in Salzburg with him, which was the beginning of my professional university studies, where I also had theory classes and everything else. So I traveled to Salzburg with my dad once a month besides school, and I was already going to many master classes with Professor Kämmerling. And when I was like 14 years old, he introduced me to Lars Vogt, my second big mentor, besides others where I just took some classes, but with him I also studied 5 years later. He was also a big influence because there in his festival Spannungen in Heimbach, where I was a scholar, I got a scholarship, I got actually a few of them. In continuous years, I was able to learn about all the big chamber music, and I listened to many great concerts and also performed myself. And that was also a big influence in my development. Also, of course, master classes with Sir Andras Schiff, Maria João Pires, Daniel Barenboim, Sergei Babayan and others helped me to develop, to become the artist I was. And at the same time, my teachers already helped me to get in contact with agents, with organizers, with labels. So by the time I was 18, I already played my Echo Rising Stars Tour, European concert hall organization, where I could play in the biggest venues of Europe and also record a label with Naive back then, with Didier Martin, who I'm still working with in Alpha Classics now. Back then I recorded my first debut album when I was 19 and also started touring, playing concerts with my manager Hans-Dieter Göre. Later I changed my management to Berlin, to Opus 3 artists, and everything was going like quite planned as the classical way of a concert pianist until the big phase came in 2020 where I couldn't perform anymore. I'm not allowed to say the words here on YouTube, otherwise the algorithm will ban the video and I want as many people as possible to see this. So I lost almost 30-40 concerts, and I also had, I have to admit, big disappointments in competitions because I play for the huge competitions. I don't want to mention any names here because I don't want to make anyone feel offended, but most of the major competitions, they simply rejected me to even play in the first round. So something about me they didn't like. So I had to look for some other possibilities, and at first I was very frustrated because I couldn't perform and I couldn't do anything. But at some point, first of all, I was just playing video games. But at some point I made a decision, okay, I have to take this free time and invent myself new. I have to do something new. So I got the opportunity to record Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier with Alpha Classics. And this got a big success. We got the review on Gramophone UK for the best album of 21. We got over 5.5 streams immediately, and also other great press reviews, which I'm very happy and thankful about. I will talk about my Bach journey in another video. However, I also started using my online possibilities on Instagram. You probably see me develop there. Also on YouTube now, to actually get in touch with my audience, with organizers, with also potential mentees. I started also doing my master classes online. And from there I actually quit working with general management pretty soon and also took on the responsibility to work on my career myself. And I've been developing this now. I have my personal assistant here now in Berlin, where I live, and this is basically the path I've been taking. And I can only encourage you nowadays in 2023, if you are an artist, to actually take the courage to be self-employed, to actually have the responsibility for your own engagements. And of course you should work with managers, you should work with labels and competitions wherever it helps you, but you should not be a slave and you should not give up too much control. So the best is to always learn all the skills yourself first before you actually delegate them to other people. That's the best way I can recommend. And in terms of piano playing, it's super important that you have great guidance, you have great mentors, which I've always had in my path, because that's super important to actually really get a solid foundation. So I would say, for example, my musical foundation was already laid very early with Ivan, and he is a great teacher and he really pushed me to my limits. He took me to competitions and everything, and with Karl-Heinz Kämmerling I got even more solid technical foundation and also the practice to actually perform and handle more pressure situations and to actually get even deeper into the interpretations of my repertoire. And with Lars Vogt I got another mental support and also really great musician with a lot of experience to take me into this music and to really help me develop artistically. If you also want to learn now how to become a better pianist, how to organize yourself better to get more concerts or more attention, That's something that I don't often promote, but in this video, if you just watch this, also feel free to sign up for a free strategy session on aaronpilsan.com/academy. And if you want to, of course, learn with me how to build a technical foundation, that's what I've really mastered within the last years, where I've really systemized the practicing approach for both professional pianists and amateurs and non-professional pianists. So I have a lot of experience in that field, and I might be the right choice for you if you want to actually get your piano playing to a really, really high level. Then also please sign up for a strategy session on aaronpilsan.com/academy. Either I or my assistant will call you to then find out if and how I can help you with your playing and your further development. So thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and goodbye.